Well, I have 12 noon, so I just want to welcome you to the IFPS Web Seminar Deep Dive into the Fluid Power Support Associate Certification. My name is Donna Pollender, and I want to thank you for joining today, participating. What we plan to explore is our brand new certification. The Fluid Power Support Associate Certification. I will describe the content of the certification, review with you all the options available to prepare for the test, how to apply for the test, and I'll review all the associated costs. There will be a Q&A, question and answer time at the end, but if at any time you have a question, please chat it in. I have Victoria here. She's helping me out, and she'll stop and voice your question for you. So I'll give you a little bit of information about me. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Donna Pollender. I am the CEO of IFPS. I've been in the fluid power industry for over 30 years. I started working in 1994 for the Fluid Power Distributors Association, subsequently working for the Equipment Services Association. And in 2001, I started working for the IFPS. I became their executive director in 2002 and CEO in 2022. I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations of IFPS, as well as the development of new products and certifications. I'm certified myself as an advanced certification administrator through the National Certification Commission, and I am a member of the Institute for Credentialing Excellence and the American Society of Association Executives. You see my contact information there on the screen, my email, my phone number. I'm happy to talk to you about any topic with the IFPS, not only questions with the support associate, but please take a note of my email and my phone number, and I'm always happy to talk. So to give you a little information about our new certification, it is called the Fluid Power Support Association. This is the first certification that IFPS has released since 2010. Back in 2010, we released our Electronic Control Specialist certification. And I think this certification is special in a number of ways, but one of the reasons why I think it is special is because it's what I'm calling a committee-driven certification. Yes, the board of directors decided we wanted to develop a certification for someone who wasn't technical per se, but we had to put it on our to-do list. And rather than wait for staff time to come available, the committee decided to start writing the study manual voluntary on their own, and they really did a great job. And then when we had the staff time to kind of pick up and roll with it, we finalized the study manual, of course, using those same volunteers as subject matter experts. So I do think that this this certification is a little special for that reason. It's designed to recognize non-technical, which I kind of use that term moderately, because you might need to have some mild technical acumen in order to pass this test. Again, it doesn't go very deep, and it really is for someone, not for someone who would be designing a system or maintaining or installing a system. It would be more for someone who, as the name indicates, sort of supports those super technical people in the industry. So the fees to apply for this certification it's $199 to apply for the test, and that includes your proctoring fees. That's for a member. If you're not a member, it's $309, sorry. So our membership fees are $75 a year. So if you're not already a member, obviously you would need to add that $75 to the $199. So I kind of got into this a little bit, but who is this certification tailored for? And as I mentioned, it's tailored for non-technical or perhaps somewhat technical professionals that are involved in various aspects of the fluid power industry, from administration and inside sales to purchasing. If you work in the shipping department, it's designed to measure the ability for the person to demonstrate an understanding of key terminology used within the industry, from supply chain to sales to purchasing. It can be used as a stepping stone, and it already is being used as a stepping stone for a more advanced certification. So if you've just entered the fluid power industry and you don't really know much about the industry, but eventually you may be designing a system or installing or maintaining a system, this is kind of like get your feet wet, the perfect get your feet wet certification. It's great for someone that's just entering the industry. And, people that are on this call obviously know who IFPS is, but the IFPS is well respected throughout the fluid power industry and beyond. So holding a certification from IFPS really does say something about you. So I do think that it could help to advance your career. So it will, once you pass the test and prepare, it will show that you have a general knowledge of fluid power principles, an understanding of basic fluid power component functions, that you understand and maybe have some knowledge of basic properties of fluids, hydraulic fluid, and obviously pneumatics uses air or gas. You would understand the usage and application of seals, and also, and maybe most importantly, demonstrate a knowledge of safety principles related to working with fluid power. Now, I'll go over these topics a little more in detail in the following slides. But first, let's talk about how you achieve the certification. So this certification can be achieved by applying online. You would go to our website, and if there's time, I plan to actually show you on our website where to go. So I think we will have time at the end. But you would go to our website and you click on certification, you find the Fluid Power Support Associate, and you apply. Now, at that point, in order to add the test to your cart, you need to either select a date for your certification test if you know when you want to do it, or you have the option to say, I'll select a date at a later time. I just want to get my application in, I want to get the study materials, and I want to see, how long it's going to take me to really grasp all of this information. And there's a little checkbox that says, I'll select a date at a later time. And if you do select that option, you have 3 years from the time that you've applied for the test to actually take the test. This test is taken online, and it must be in a proctored environment. It's 75 questions. There are multiple choice questions, and it's a 3-hour exam. And in order to be successful and become certified, you must score 70% or better in order to achieve the certification. Now, I just want to go back for a second, and if you do, while you're applying, search for a location, and there isn't any locations in your area, you please contact us. And I believe right on the application, it says if you don't see a location for you to take the test online, to contact our certification logistics manager, Kyle, and his email is right there on the application. So don't be discouraged if you don't see a location in your immediate area. We can definitely work with you to make sure that you can take the test in a proctored environment. So I encourage you to do that. Contact Kyle. So just getting into the subject matter a little bit deeper. So what's on the test? What do you, or if you're asking yourself, okay, what do I need to know? What do I need to master to pass this certification test? So we have what we call domains. There are 6 domains. We also call them job responsibilities. If you want, you can call them chapters. The first is understanding basic business terminology. And so we get into understanding the difference between B2B and B2C companies, understanding the supply chain, knowing how to read part numbers and model codes and really understanding how they work within the fluid power industry, understanding quotes, quotations, and quotation terms, understanding how purchase orders work, as well as understanding how sales orders work, understanding shipping and receiving processes and terms, understand quality and quality management, and understanding channels to market and common sales terms. So as you can see, this is sort of a basic overview of business terminology, which you may say to yourself, well, that's not really what I do every day, and it may not be, but it's really good information in general to understand all of those topics. So that's our first domain. The second is fluid power principles. And so what we get into is basic hydraulic and pneumatic concepts. It's not super deep, but just really understanding, how compressed air works and how, we don't compress fluids, but the concept of hydraulics and how that works. Understanding Pascal's law, which is the law that governs fluid power. Understanding non-compressible fluids, the ideal gas law, understanding the concept of pressure and how that applies, understanding force when it's applied to motion and actuator movement, understand a rotary force or torque, understanding the concept of pump flow and actuator speed, understanding what determines pressure in a hydraulic system, and understanding the law of conservation of energy and its application of fluid power. And again, we sort of scratched the surface on these fluid power principles. It's not a super deep dive into it. It's just something that we believe that someone who works in the fluid power industry should have a general, as you can see, by the 9 times we rate understand. It's just an understanding of all of those concepts, not a super deep dive. And the third is to identify and understand the function of fluid power components. Now, again, we don't get super deep into this, but just for my own knowledge, I would say this one maybe because it does have a lot of different what we call outcomes, might be a little more technical than say the other chapters or domains. So we get into understand the term and functions of a prime mover, understand the functions and types of a pump, of a reservoir, accumulators, the types and functions of valves, actuators, filters, conductors, various instruments that are used in fluid power systems, understand the function and application of a pneumatic receiver, of applications and functions of a compressor, function and applications of an FRL, understanding the unique characteristics of pneumatic valves, understand the unique characteristics of pneumatic actuators, and vacuum generators. So as you can see by this list, we're not only talking about hydraulics. We do get into pneumatics, and that's obviously hydraulics and pneumatics is what makes up the fluid power industry. So we don't get super deep into it, but you will come out with a general understanding of all of those different components, how they work within the fluid power system. Okay, the next chapter or domain is fluid properties, which obviously a hydraulic or pneumatic system cannot work without fluids. So we get into understanding the function, the types, and the properties of fluids used in fluid power systems, understanding the primary function of hydraulic fluid to transmit energy efficiently, understand the types of hydraulic fluids, the properties of hydraulic fluids, and something that's very important, which is fluid cleanliness, understanding how important keeping your fluid clean and controlling contamination. And then we get into seals. Again, very important for either a hydraulic or a pneumatic system is that we don't have leakage. So we get into, oops, sorry about that, hit the wrong button. The types of seals and the proper methods of seal selection. Excuse me, understanding the types, locations, and functions of seals used in fluid power components. The importance of seal material and fluid compatibility. Understand the function of seal durometer. Understand common seal shapes and their applications. Know how fluid power seals are specified. We're not asking you to specify them, but just to understand how they are specified. And understanding rotary shaft seals. And finally, and probably, in my opinion, the most important, we get into safety, the last domain, which we get into some specific hydraulic, pneumatic, and electrical safety guidelines. We describe and help you to recognize the inherent dangers of fluid power systems and exhibit a basic understanding of the required safety precautions. Understanding oil injection or ingestion, what a fluid injection injury is, understand how they can occur, and understand the urgency of medical attention if you do get an oil injection or a fluid injection injury. Understand and recognize the hazards of incorrect sizing, material selection, or types of components used. And then just general awareness, some precautions that are associated with fluid power equipment, and understand the usage and applications of PPE, personal protective equipment, and understand the general recommendations for its use. So now you're saying, okay, I think I can do this. How do I prepare? So IFPS offers a variety of prep resources to help you to get ready for this certification. And I will get into details of these in a minute, but first and foremost, we have provided, as we do with all of our certifications, a study manual. So if you read through this study manual, and understand the concept of everything, you'll be golden. You could purchase online training modules. You could purchase the review training PowerPoint and take the pre-tests. So these are free, and I'll get into those in just a minute. So we'll start with the study manual. So the Fluid Power Support Associate Certification Study Manual is under 200 pages. It's not a super thick, heavy 300-page book. It is, as you can see there from the bottom, free access for members to download in PDF format. It contains detailed information, numbered outcomes, each of those domains that I went over, and each of those outcomes, understand, all those different things. We get into describing those within this study manual. It's very detailed. We try to use a lot of illustrations to kind of help you to comprehend what you're reading by directing you to illustrations that help to understand the subject matter. We have references, we have review questions at the end of each of the outcomes that kind of measures your ability to comprehend. Did I understand that last outcome? Here are a couple of review questions for you to answer. It's designed to help candidates focus on the key topics and prepare independently, or you can study together along with, maybe you could do a study group, or perhaps you're going to help someone to prepare for the certification. You can use the study manual for that point. But the exam and the review questions are based on the outcomes and the domains in this study manual. So as I mentioned before, if you are able to read through it and really comprehend and understand the content, I do think that you will be ready for the exam. And we'll get into the pretest in a minute, but that could also be a great measure of your competency in this area. So we also offer online training modules. And I like to call our online training modules, you know, the study manual on steroids. So we have based our online training modules on the content of our study manual. Now, the study manual, when you download it as a PDF, yes, it's in full color, but when you receive the printed version, it is in black and white. So the online training modules offer all of our graphics in color, and many of them are animated. And when I click on the next bullet point, you can see that the video there became animated, and I can go back again so that you can see as we have voiceover, we also animate to describe just exactly, you know, what you're learning about. So as I mentioned earlier, we have chapter review questions. They're interactive, so you'll know immediately the question is there. You click on the answer. If you get it right, it will say, great, you got it right. If you got it wrong, it will explain you didn't answer correctly and why. Where do you find the information that we just quizzed you on in the study manual? It would actually give you a page number. So it's very convenient that way. It has voiceover text. So if you're an auditory learner, someone who learns better by listening, you can certainly follow along with the study manual. It does that beautifully, as well as 3 additional online pretests. So when I get into the pretest, I'll show you, we have one that's free online. Of course, in the back of the study manual, there are all 4 of our pretests, but they're not online. So if you purchase the training modules, you will get 3 additional online pretests. We do have safety tips, energy tips throughout the training modules. And it does contain some additional explanations that are not covered in the printed manual. We kind of go into a little bit more detail as we're able to. The training modules are available for purchase. So if you purchase it as a standalone, you just want to go through the training modules, you're not ready to apply for the test, or if you're using it for just general fluid power knowledge, it's $199. If you purchase the training modules at the time that you apply for your test, you get $50 off, and it's $149 for the training modules. Okay, we also have put together a review training PowerPoint presentation, and it is also available for purchase. It's $199 for members to purchase. It's $650 for non-members. And basically, we took all of the graphics, every illustration from the study manual, as well as detailed instructor notes in the back end of the presentation. And you can use this if you're helping someone within your company to prepare for the exam, or you can use it if you're preparing and kind of go through each of the slides and read the instructor notes and kind of do it in that way. So it's a great tool whether you're helping someone or you're studying on your own. And again, the pretest, which I alluded to before, you can see a little snap of the pretest and how you would begin. And they are done online. And I think that there are a terrific measure of where you are in your study. And I think the even better measure, or the better benefit of this, is that we use the same medium to conduct the test as we do as our pretest. So when you go through the pretest, you will get that it's the exact same system to take your test. So it really will give you a flavor of how the actual exam is going to be. So again, we have a free pretest on our website online, and then if you purchase the training modules, you get 3 additional, or you can, they're in paper in the back of this study manual or PDF form where we provide the answers, and you would just, you know, go ahead and circle your answers with a pen, or and then grade the test yourself. So that's the end of my slide. But as I mentioned before, I want to go to our website and kind of just show you some of these products. So obviously you go to ifps.org, and this is what you're going to see. So if you hover over certification/research, we have several different options you can pick from. But if you click on prepare for a certification test, you'll get to this page, which is a wonderful resource that Victoria put together for us for all of our certifications. And you can click on any one of those. But if we just scroll down to the Support Association Prep, we would click on here. And this is, I guess you could say, your one-stop shop, the one page that we have available for you to kind of coordinating all the prep resources right here on this one page. So you can click on the pretest, and it will open up the pretest, and you would just have to fill in your name, put your email address, and you can start the pretest. And it would just ask you the question: what are two types of gas charge accumulators? And you would answer the question, and you would just keep going. And there are 25 questions on the pretest, and the test, and you can see right here, is timed for 1 hour. So that's sort of like taking this certification exam. You have 3 hours and 75 questions to take for the actual test, but this is exactly what the test looks like. Similar questions are asked, so I highly encourage you to go through and take the pretest once you've looked at it. You can click right here. If you're a member, it'll bring you right to our free download page. You can click right on any of these certifications, but you can click on the Support Associate, and it will bring you directly. It's actually 100, and it says 138, but that includes the cover and things. And you will have access. You can download the study manual and save it to your computer. You can, honestly, I've looked at our study manuals on a phone, on a tablet, so it's available anywhere you can open a PDF. And as you can see, there are full color graphics, and at the end we ask review questions, and it's just the absolute best tool for prep on our any of our certifications. So and again, you can purchase a printed study manual, but I encourage you, if you're planning to apply for this certification, to do it at the time of your application, because it's less expensive. It's $20 plus shipping at the time of your application, and I believe it's $35. Yeah, it's $35 if you're just purchasing it on your own. Our training modules, you can click and purchase them right here. Training PowerPoint. So again, these are just really quick and easy links that you can get to. And you can apply for the certification right here, and it brings you to the application. But you can also, if you hover over certification and you click on certifications offered, and you scroll down to Support Associate, it brings you to the exact same place. And as I mentioned before, in order to apply, if you try to add it to your card, it will tell you have to pick either a date and time or a to be determined. So you would have to click here. You can search for a location by your zip code. As you can see, I used my home zip code, and I found 4 different options that are close. Of course, you could come here to headquarters if you're near Cherry Hill, but we have a couple of colleges that also offer proctored environments. Or you can choose the checkbox that says I'll choose a location later, $20 for the study manual. If you want to purchase the training modules, it all goes into your cart at once and you can check out then. Again, this prep resources, if you open this, it brings you right back to the page that we were on earlier. The pretest is here as well. And this is also a subject matter outline. It basically just tells you what is going to be covered on the test. So I think I kind of went over everything, but again, the quick and easiest way for you to find all the resources would be to click on prepare for a test and go down to support associate. But again, if you use like training and resources, you can get to the review training presentation right from here, or you can get to the training modules from here as well. We have a couple of different ways that you can get to the certification prep. So I think that's it. I'll go back to my presentation. And we'll see, does anyone have questions? I don't know why it's not coming back, but does anyone have any questions? And so we have general contact information on the screen. I can go back to the first screen real fast so that you have my contact information. So there's my contact information. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. That's all I have for you today. And we can wait another second or two to make sure no one has any questions. But I want to thank you for joining us, and feel free to email at a later time if something pops up and you have a question. But that's all I have for you today. Thanks, everyone.